जिनके घोड़े भी दौड़ के थक गए। अब हम लोग शाम 4 बजे शुरू हुए, लगातार चले। जो सुनने वाले हैं वो भी ठिकाने आ गए। हमने भी जिंदगी में बड़े बड़े शरारती घोड़ों पर सवारी की है। अब जैसे वो रेसिंग बॉक्स में समझे जाते हैं ये मैदान के इब्तिदा में, ऐसे जैसे लगामें तोड़ाने लगे। सवार को कॉन्फिडेंस हो कि मैं ठीक हूँ, ये मेरा कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ सकता। आदमी उसको छोड़े और 2-4 बैठ उसके पुष्ट पर लगा दे अच्छी तरह से। घोड़ा फरिश्ता नहीं है, घोड़ा घोड़ा है। जब पूरी ताकत पर टॉप पे दौड़े ना, ज्यादा से ज्यादा 150-200 गज दौड़ सकते, इससे ज्यादा दौड़ नहीं सकता। खुद वो चाहता है खड़ा हो जाओ। और जितने सुनने वाले थे ना उन्होंने कैंसर सुनाने वाले ना पेड़े पे इसके साथ I am not in position to speak in English because I'm deadly tired. It is out of my capacity to talk for more than 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Now, you must have seen me that I have been speaking for more than 6 hours. And I want to choose a topic for the speech, but I think to elucidate the situation of Saif al-Muluk Sharif, more suitable subject for me at the moment. Because Saif al-Muluk was sung for a long time, and many good singers has been singing Saif al-Muluk Sharif. I would like to elucidate and to explain the background of Saif al-Muluk Sharif and Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi, so that you will be able to understand the contents of Saif al-Muluk Sharif. Do you agree with my suggestion? Yes. Saif al-Muluk Sharif is not originally a book. There was a translation of a drama. It was written in Arabic. There was an author in Egypt who composed a drama in Arabic poetry, and Mian Sahib Rahmatullah translated it into Punjabi. But he tried his best to amalgamate his own taste, his own thinking. For instance, he tried his best to interpret the exegesis of the Holy Quran in the language of Punjabi, in the form of the stanzas, in the form of poetry. For instance, he says, जिन्ना दे तन इश्क समाना रोना कम होना हम मिलते रोंदे विछुड़ते रोंदे रोंदे टूटते राह. This is a situation explained by Hazrat Imam Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi. But the background of this stanza is the revelation, the situation of the revelation of the verse of the Holy Quran. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. Means whosoever obeys the order of Allah and is apostle, they would be included in those people who were given the bounties of Allah. They are from the pious people, from the prophets, from awliya Allah, from the martyrs, from the other good people, and they are one of the best community. This is the verse of the Holy Quran which was revealed in this section. Hazrat Imam Qazi Ajaz Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi writes in his book Kitab al-Shifa fi Tarif Huquq al-Mustafa in the 2nd volume, in the chapter of love for the Holy Prophet. He explains here, he says that there is a companion of the Holy Prophet whose job was weeping, crying. And Nabi Kareem said, why do you weep for all of the times? When you are with me, in my company, you should not weep. because you claim that you are my beloved. So when a beloved is with beloved, he should be satisfied. So in the case of meeting, it is not lawful or appropriate for you to weep like that. He said, Ya Rasulullah, whenever I hit upon your thought, I cannot help weeping. Unless I see you. But when I come here, Nabi Karim said, when you are here, why are you crying and weeping? He said, Zakartu mawti wa mawtak. Ya Rasulullah, I hit upon the thought of my death and as well as that of yours. So I believe that is a mitha profeta ma'an nabiyyin. When you pass away, you would be included in the company of the prophets, and you would be elevated in the paradise. But in the khaltuha, even if I am entitled to enter the paradise, but I would not be able to see you here. I don't want to go such a paradise. To such a paradise, your availability is not possible. Then you are not available for me to see at you. I don't want to have that paradise. Even if I am sure that I will also go to the paradise. But such a paradise is not a paradise for me when I cannot meet you. Then Nabi Karim kept quiet and began to wait for the revelation of Allah. And Gabriel came down and he said, مَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ. Whosoever are true in their love, we shall not separate them from each other. The love is a permanent relationship. All of the other relationships would be dissolved. Even the marriage would be dissolved at the time of death. This is why a widow can remarry with somebody else, because with the death of husband, her marriage was dissolved. And any person whose wife died, he can get married with his sister-in-law, because this cause of illegitimacy of this girl was because of his previous wife. When his previous wife has died away, so this was legitimatized by Quran, by the prophetic traditions, because the previous relationship with the previous wife has been dissolved. It means that the marriage is always dissolved by the reason of the death. But if a peer dies away, the disciple is not entitled to perform the bath with somebody else, because that is a permanent relation that will exist after the death as well. And on the judgment day, Nabi Karim was reported when he was asked about the company. Nabi Karim جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله ماذا تقول في من أحب قوم ولم يلحق بهم. Oh my holy prophet, I would like to have a verdict by you about the people who are loving the community, but they are not same in practice. They could not do the practice as their beloved has been doing. So what is your opinion? What would be the end of such a people? Nabi Karim said, Al-mar'u ma man ahab. Even if the practice is not equal to the beloved, but yet on account of love, he would be put together with the beloved, and their separation would not be made on the judgment day. In the classes, the status would be changed on account of him, even if he is not entitled to have a good situation, a good status in the paradise. But when he is loving the most supreme person, he will be granted the supreme status in the paradise. It means that love is not dissolvable, it cannot be dissolved. Love is a permanent relationship. Here Mian Sahib Rahmatullah explains the same thing. This is a subject which is called continuity of the crime. Continuity of the crime means when a love is true, it cannot be satisfied even with the meeting, because the coming separation is always torturing. When they are sitting together, they are thinking about the separation which is imminent to them, which is going to happen very soon afterwards. Unless they are satisfied by the promise of Allah that He will be put together in the paradise in the company of their beloved, then they can be satisfied. So here Mir Sahib explains Jinnah Detan Ishqshama. Nabi Kareem said, when you are going to be granted the paradise, why are you weeping? Here Mir Sahib says, Huran te gilman beheshti nare duniya sari. Huran te gilman beheshti nare duniya sari. Tere baal Muhammad behnu nahi koi cheez. I don't want to go to the paradise where you are not available for me, where I cannot see you. So it means that other than Imam Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah is believing in the authenticity and the permanence of the love. He tries to make us understand that if you want to have a good status on the judgment day, you should believe the most supreme person, who the supreme person in the paradise. When you sincerely love Muhammad Mustafa, what is the meaning of sincerity here? Means whatever you have, you spend in the way of beloved. For the mission of Muhammad Mustafa, your money, your house, your power, your public weight, and your trading source, all of the sources should be utilized for the pleasure of the beloved. So this is the sign of true love. When you get the true love about Muhammad Mustafa, you would be granted the same place, the same status, which is possible for your beloved. Here, one was saying about what is the reason of Panthan Park. Shasa was saying. Hazrat Nabi Kareem was reported by Hazrat Hazrat Karar Shaykh Qadardi. Is there do you understand my speech? I'm trying to facilitate my language. Also you are complaining against me that I speak mostly very high English. Therefore you are not in a position to understand me. But I am trying to come near and near to you. So I would like to have assurance that you are understanding me. Here, Hazrat Mawla Muhtasir Qadar reports Rasul Kareem to have said, Akhadha bi yad al-Hasan wa bi yad al-Husayn wa qala man ahabbani wa ahabba hazayn wa ahabba abahuma wa ummahuma kana ma'iyya fi darajati yawm al-qiyamah. So this is إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. That is enough proof to substantiate the fact that these five persons are completely purified. Imam Tahawi Rahmatullah wrote a complete volume on this very topic, that these are five persons who were announced by the Holy Prophet as a purified person. Even the sixth person cannot be included in this company. Only five persons are here. So Nabi Kareem was here, and he was competent to include anyone or to exclude anyone. When he covered these five persons, including himself, it meant that the purity of these five persons was announced, was promulgated by Muhammad Mustafa himself. So there is no need for any other proof. This is authority which can be quoted in the courts as well. If somebody says that I am not going to believe in the purity of five persons, we can challenge him in the court that you are at fault, you are in the wrong. Why? Because the verse says that إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ. This restriction of Ahl al-Bayt, this is a restrictive relative clause according to Arabic. Ahl al-Bayt, the title of Ahl al-Bayt excluded all of the other followers of the Holy Prophet. No member of Ummah can be included in this one. The word of Ahl al-Bayt. And there were many Alibath because of the marriage, Alibath because of the consanguinity. This is the complication for me. Consanguinity, residuary, affinities. So these are three families of the relationship. Affinities means the people who are related by means of the marriage. Sorry. They are called affinities. Affinities, consanguinities, residuaries, the people whose share were declared by the Holy Quran in the inheritance, they are called residuary. And consanguinities, whatever is remaining after the distribution of the property, and they are determined for that remaining part, they are called residuary. Residuary, consanguinities and affinities. So Nabi Kareem had the consanguinities, affinities, residuaries, but Nabi Kareem by putting the sheet on these four persons, and including himself 5 persons, he excluded all of the other relatives. Means no consanguinities, no affinities, no residuaries can be included in this purity. This purity is applicable only upon these 5 persons. And here, Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda reported Nabi Kareem to have said, to have done. Akhaz Abiyad al-Hasan, Abiyad al-Husayn. Nabi Kareem caught hold of the hand of Hazrat Imam Hassan and hand of Imam Hussain and said, Man ahabbani, whosoever likes me, loves me, wa hazaini, and these 2 persons, wa abahuma wa ummahuma, along with their mother and father, their parents, he would not only be granted the paradise, but will he be granted? This is the use of only. But will he be granted? This inversion. This is the difficulty. Mostly the people speak non-grammatical language and they make complaint against me. Not only they will be granted the paradise, but will they be granted the status of mind in the paradise? If you say, Man qala la ilaha illallah faqad dakhala al-jannah. Whosoever says la ilaha illallah Rasulullah, he would grant the paradise, but not the status of Muhammad Mustafa. Many status are there, many ranks are there, many classes are there, but they would be classified as my classification. Whosoever loves me and Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain and Sayyidah Fatima and Sayyidina Ali, because these 5 persons are points and power. This is the truth. And Mian Sahib Rahmatullah Ta'ala says, All aulad teri da mangta, main kangal zehani, pao khair Muhammad ta'i, sadqa Shah Jilani. I am not in position, I am not eligible to be with you, but I love you. And you have already said, Man ahabbani wa ahabba hazaini, yakunu maiya fi darajati. Whosoever likes me and these 4 persons, he will be put together with us in the paradise, in the same class, in the same status, in the same facilities. So this was explained by Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah Ta'ala. Dar dardi tu chhod gulami, goli ban ek dardi, jaan goli ek dardi ban se, malik ban se kardi. So this is a lesson in the mystical system. Means when a person performs a act with a person, he is duty bound to love his murshid exclusively. He is not allowed to see here and there. Therefore, Sister Alain says, you are not in need to look here and there. Muridi, la takhaf. Oh my disciples, you are not allowed to go here and there. At any time, at any crucial time, critical time, you are to invoke me. Subhanallah. The special word, Nidai Hazar Lil Ghaib, means to call for a person who is not visible. This calling is called invocation. You are allowed to invoke me, whether you are sleeping at the bed or fighting in the field of war, wherever you are, even in the face of the ocean, in the fire, in the flood, anywhere you are, and you are afflicted with any calamity, any difficulty, your duty is to invoke me, my duty is to approach you. These eulogists, do you know eulogists? Nav Khan. These eulogists has been singing and we have been enjoying. But when you are not aware of the contents of the stanzas, what is the benefit of it? So this is just amusement of the ear. But this book is not just for listening and amusing. This is for teaching. Because Mian Sahib Rahmatullah was not a poet, but he was a mystical torch-bearer. Mystical torch-bearer. And he was the first person to contradict Wahhabiyya. The first book written against Wahhabiyya was Hadayat al-Muslimin. Hadrat Khwaja Khwajagan Sayyid Pir Mehli Shah Sahib Golvi Rahmatullah was born in 1960 or 1950, 1850. Not 18. 1859. And Allah Fadl Ibrahim Rahmatullah was born in 1856. But Imam Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah, he wrote Saif al-Muluk Sharif between 1856 and 57. Means Allah Fadl Ibrahim Rahmatullah was 1 year old when he completed the book. And he completely explained the ideology of Al-Sunnah al-Jama'ah. And he was one of the dialectical theologians. Do you know dialectical theologians? This is my problem. Dialectical theologians are the people who can teach the ideology, the concepts in the light of logic. They can make understand one, the ideology, the orthodoxy. Do you know orthodoxy? This is my problem. Maulana always complains against me that you use the difficult words. What can I use now? Orthodoxy Sayyul Aqidah, Sayyid Aqidah. Heterodoxy, Bad Aqidgi. These are two permanent words. And dialectical theologians means those persons who can teach all of the ideologies, concepts, doctrines in the language of logic, and they can use all of the principles. Why do they use the logic? Logic is not a Muslim education. This is not Muslim science. This is just like math. This is a science dealing with the argumentation. When you want to check the accuracy, the authenticity of an argument, you will have to put it on the projector of the logic. So logic will show you whether the reasoning is lawful or unlawful, valid or invalid, regular or irregular. So Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah was the dialectical theologian. Therefore he was the first person in this field to write and contradict against Wahhabiyya. And there are many things written in Saif al-Muluk Sharif about ideology. For instance, he says, Par ishq tha, kise na chukya, kar uzr bahane. Aak bala, bala se hadi, insane nadane. And you will have to translate it and interpret it in English language in the light of the verse of the Holy Quran. Are you ready to explain it? Everybody says, oh, Samuluk, Sara Bhole Aave. Samuluk. I'm really very sorry for those people who are not understanding Samuluk. They are just amusing the singing. You know, as the girls, there is a game between the girls. They said, "This gali mein aama jama, us gali mein sura, the sura meri baam maruli, chhadka mera chura, foo chi, foo chi." इसका माना क्या है? वैसे गाने के मजे। Some look just a singing stanza. But Mian Sahib Rahmatullah says, Tar ishq da, kise na chukya, kar kar uzr bahane, aak bala, bala sehari, insane nadane.
Subhanallah.
Here, the verse of the Holy Quran can be quoted in this connection. Inna aradna al-amanata ala samawati والأرض والجبال فأبينا أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه ظلوم جهولا. So this is the end of Surah Ahzab. Here Quran says, we offered our trust to the universe, ala samawat wal ardi, to the skies as well, and to the earth as well, wal jibali, and to the mountain as well. فَأَنْبَيْنَا أَنْ يَحْمِلَهَا أَشْفَقْنَا مِنْهَا. So all of the universe, they were afraid of the weight of this trust. This trust was too weighty for them, too heavy for them. They were not in a position to pick it up. Means this trust was so heavy that they could not pick it up. فَأَبَيْنَا أَنْ يَحْمِلَهَا. They refused to pick it up. وَأَشْفَقْنَا مِنْهَا. And they got afraid of it. وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ. When I offered this trust to the human being, he offered his shoulder. He said, حَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ. So human being tried to pick it up. So he picked it up. إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظُلُومٌ جَهُولًا. Really, he was very cruel to himself because he was not in position to afford it. He tried to pick up the load which was out of his capacity. Understand? Here Mian Sahib Rahmatullah says, Par ishq. The trust was interpreted in many ways. Some of them they say that it was caliphate of Allah. Allama Jalaluddin Dalwani, Lawamil Ashraf fi Makarim al-Akhlaq, that is ethical books, ethical philosophy, falsafa akhlaq, ethical philosophy. He writes here, it was the caliphate of Allah. The trust was caliphate of Allah. Allah wanted to make anyone his own caliph, but all of the universe refused. But human being accepted it. This is the opinion of philosophers. And there are certain persons who say that here trust means the Islamic responsibilities. But Mian Sahib Rahmatullah says Islamic responsibilities is not too heavy weight because everybody can pick it up. So this interpretation is highly objectionable. So then what does it mean? He says that this is the love. Means the skies hesitated. The earth refused. The mountains also showed their humility, their submissivity, but they were not ready to pick it up. But the human being was ready to pick it up. Akbala. So this was mentioned in the Holy Quran. Alastu bi rabbikum? Allah, aren't I your Lord, your God? Why not? Bala is always for ijab manfi. Why not? Of course, you are our Lord. So they picked it up. When they said Bala, by saying Bala, they jumped into the fire. They picked up the difficulties. They choose their calamities because the choice of love and ishq, enthusiasm, that is very heavy load for the human being. Here Miya Sahib Rahmatullah says, since you are a human being and you have promised to Allah to love Him enhancedly and to love His Prophet very excessively, so this is the time to fulfill your promise. Bahar ishq ka kise na chukya kar kar uzr bahane bala se hari insan nadan. Here Miya Sahib Rahmatullah in many ways tries to make the people understand that a Muslim should be a proper Sunni. For instance, invocation means to call for the help, to call a person not visible to someone for help. That is called invocation. He says, "Mardanu koi yaad karenda, okay, sokhe mile. Mard bengare, kadi na hare. Magan sher mare ne." Punjabi जानने वाला आदमी तो उसे वही हो जाए. But this is really very a great curiosity for me that the people are not understanding, but yet they are saying, oh. I'm really surprised. Far ishqda kise na chukya, kar kar uzar bahane, aak bala shahid. This sanat tajli se taam. The first bala is means yes, of course, why not? The first bala means yes, of course, why not? And the second bala means calamity. So this type of words are used for this purpose. This is called sanat tajli se taam. When the spelling of two different words are the same, but the meanings are different. This is called sanat tajli se taam. But here, when he says, Mardanu koi yaad karenda, okay, sokhe vele. So this is an ideology that a person can invoke the pious people at the time of calamity, because in those days this was being propagated for, that one is not allowed to invoke Awliya Allah or Ghaus Pak or any companion of the Holy Prophet or Hazrat Ali Murtad Sher Khudar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu or Khaja Nizamuddin Awliya Mahubulahi rahmatullah alayh. Such a person should not be invoked for the help. So Imam Miya Muhammad Sahib rahmatullah alayh contradicted their idea. He said, Mardanu ko yaad karenga, aukhe sokhe vele, mard vingare, kadi na hare, wangre sher. And this claim can be substantiated by means of referring to two different books. Kitab al-Azkar Imam Nawawi or Tawfat al-Zakirin Shawkani. Are you present? Yes. You look to be tired. I should be tired because I am too old person. Now I am going to be 73 years old now. And I have been talking more than 6 hours. I should be tired. But you look to be tired more than me. So what is your opinion? Should I go ahead? आपको पूछना चाहिए. आपकी राय इस वाली बड़ी बात है. ये सुना पता कोई नहीं सुना. Here he says that मर्दानों को याद करेगा औखे सौखे ले ले ते मर्द बिगाड़े कदी ना हारे वांगड़ शेर. He tries to make us understand that it is completely lawful to invoke a person who is not visible to you. Here, I was going to refer to two different books. Kitab al-Azkar, Imam Nawawi, and Kitab Tuhfatul Zakirin, Imam Shawkani. Shawkani is Wahhabi, and Imam Nawawi is Sunni, but mixed person. His ideology is mixed one. He supports the cause of Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah is a later on person. He was previous one, but mostly he coordinated with him as well. But here, Shawkani says there is a tradition which was referred by many reliable sources that Ya Rijal al-Ghaibe A'inuni, when you are in a forest, in a desert where no one else is with you and you are all alone, and your horse or any other animal who was picking up your load and it flew away and went away. If you are looking after the luggage, the donkey or horse will go away. And if you chase up the donkey or horse, then your luggage is under the danger. It may be plundered, it may be looted, it may be wasted by enemy. So what should you do at this moment? He says, one should say, Ya Rijal al-Ghaibi. This is tradition. Nabi Pak is reported to have said, when you are in such a calamity, you should invoke Ya Rijal al-Ghaibi A'inuni. Oh unseen people, please help me. Inshallah, he will be helped. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah reports this belief while referring to this tradition. He says that Mardanu koi yaad karenda aukhe saukhe mein. Kitab al-Azkar writes the same thing, and Shawkani writes the same thing. They write and explain their personal experience. They say that we were in a jungle and our donkey threw away the luggage and ran away, and we were in a trouble. Then we invoked Ya Rijal al-Ghaibe A'inuni. All of a sudden, certain persons, very beautiful, very tall, dressed in white clothes, they appeared here. They caught hold of the donkey. They brought it back, and they helped me to load the luggage. And then I wanted to know their whereabouts. I wanted to ask their names, but all of a sudden disappeared. So this is a proof which was substantiated by Wahhabis as well. He says that Shawkani himself says that I experienced this tradition. I was really in trouble and I invoked, and certain persons appeared here. They helped me and they saved my luggage, and all of a sudden then they disappeared. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah teaches us the proper ideology. He says, Mardanu koi yaad karenda aukhe saukhe vele te mard bigare kadi na hare bhagan sher bare. As we have got a personal experience. In India, there were non-Muslim, especially Hindus. They would give us the GyarhveenSharif. So once upon a time, I myself asked them why they were giving us the GyarhveenSharif. They said that the king of their community was passing through a jungle along with his wife, and his wife was loaded with the pearls, with the jewelries, very valuable dress, and there were robbers. They appeared here. They wanted to plunder all of the property. At that time, that king began to invoke his own gurus. Guru is used for pir. Sometimes I go in Malaysia, so the people say that a Pradhan Guru has come from the family of Pradhan Guru. Piro ka Pir Pradhan Guru. A Pradhan Guru came here and he is from the lineage of Pradhan Guru. Guru is Indian word which means Pir. He began to invoke his own gurus, but no one was there to help him. And afterwards, his wife said, there is a person in Baghdad, he had said, that if some person is there in a trouble, he invokes me, I shall help him. But he will have to give me the GyarhveenSharif. Then he said, the king said, if we are saved, we are rescued from this danger, so I shall myself continue to pay GyarhveenSharif for all of the life, and I shall make a will for the coming generation to pay GyarhveenSharif for all of the life. This is why we are paying the GyarhveenSharif. And what happened afterwards? All of a sudden, a sword appeared here, and it came to the neck of the first robber, and his neck was cut away, was cut off. The same happened with the second robber, with the third, with the fourth, with the with the fifth. All of the robbers were killed by that sword. And then there was a reflection of a very beautiful person with big turban, with white clothes. And he was a very illuminated person, very shiny. Then she asked him what his name was and where he was coming from. He said, I'm Sayyid Abdul Jilani. I came from Baghdad. And according to my promise, I kept my word, I honored my word, I helped you, and you should keep your own word. I have done my own job, and you will have to do your own job. That Hindu told me that the background of our GyarhveenSharif is this one. So, Mian Muhammad Sahib says, Mardano koi yaad karega, aukhe saukhe bole, te mard bingare, kadi na hare, bangan sher barele. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah Rahmatullah, utte jo dargah Meera de, sheran utte pare, Peeran de sir pair Muhammad Baba Peera. This was another ideology which was really to be taught to the Muslim society. There was certain Sufi in those days who were believing that previously Hazrat Ghaus Saqalain radiyallahu ta'ala was granting the piety, Walayat, was granting the piety to the candidates, but now Hazrat Ghaus Saqalain radiyallahu was abrogated. Now he is not entitled to grant the piety, but they were naming a new Sufi son that he would be granting the piety to new awliya Allah. Then Shah Ahmad waged a war against that Sufi, and that is a very lengthy war. But Mian Sahib Rahmatullah says, Kutte jo dargah Meeran de, sheran utte phare, te Peeran de sir pair Muhammad Baba Peer hamare. In the beginning, when I came here in Waltham Store, I was singing like that, Peeran de sir pair Muhammad. There were certain persons who were objecting my pronunciation. Peeran de sir Peer Muhammad. But in the other place, in several look, he said, Gausan Kutban de sir Meera, pair Mubarak Tarya. Gausan Kutban de sir Meera, pair Mubarak Tarya. Means Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah explained all of the things. Here he says that this is not a particular belief or particular ideology, but this is generally accepted by all of the orthodoxy. Means the totality of righteous people are believing in it. Kutte jo dargah Meeran de, sheran utte phare. And he was referring to Hazrat Baha'u'llah Zakariya Multani. Sage dargah Meera sho, shukhahi qurb Rabbani, ke bar sheran sharafdar, sage dargah zila. Sage dargah Meera sho, shukhahi qurb Rabbani, ke bar sheran sharafdar, sage dargah zilani. And Hazrat Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti Meri Rahmatullah said, Chu paaye Nabi shud faj sarat, faje hum alam shud qadam, aktabi jahan dar peshe dar, uftada chu peshe shah beda. Hazrat Khwaja Gharib Nawaz Sultan Sarkar says, Oh my Ghaus Saqalain, ever since your head became the place of footing by the Holy Prophet. As Nabi Karim put his foot on your head. Your foot went to the head of total piety, total awliya Allah. To paye Nabi shud Taj Sarat. Ever since Nabi Kareem put his own foot on your head, so your foot became the crown of the total awliya Allah. Or Aqtab-e Jahan Darpesh Dar, the most supreme person on the earth is called Qutb. Qutb or Ghaus is the same person. It was defined by Hazrat Sharif Jurjani in Kitab Tarifat. Qutb and Ghaus is the same person, and that is a supreme person on the surface of the earth. Khwaja Garib Nawaz says, Aqtab-e Jahan Darpesh Dar, Uftada Jupeshe Shah Gada. All of the Qutb of the surface of the earth are in front of your door, as the beggars are on the door of a king to get the gift, if they're begging. So they all of awliya Allah are begging from your door, and you are distributing the piety among the totality of awliya Allah. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah Ta'ala was a torch bearer of mystical science, and he was the first person to write a book in the contradiction of the Wahhabi people. He says that these persons are trying to debar the Muslims from standing in front of Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You were asking me that if you... You were asking me if a person is not in position to go there, so what is the solution? What is the remedy to that person who cannot go there? So here, Sahib Al-Fiqari Rahmatullah says, the people who are debarring you from standing in front of Muhammad Mustafa for salam, they are Wahhabis. So this idea was instilled by the deviated Muslims who are not righteous one, they are not orthodox, but they are deviated Muslims, misled Muslims. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah located them and defined them and introduced them to the society that these scholars should not be followed. He says that these people who are debarring you, preventing you standing in front of Muhammad Mustafa because they were believing that Nabi Kareem is omnipresent. Azir Nazir. The proper word is omnipresent. This is my difference. Omnipresently. This stress is omnipresent. Omnipresent. The other day I was speaking in Leicester. I used the word of scaffolding. One of the civil engineer, he was saying your pronunciation was wrong. I said, wait. I took out the phonetical dictionary. My sentence was right. Because I have checked every single word. Alhamdulillah, I am fully sure that my pronunciation is accurate. Omnipresent. Stress is on N. Omnipresent. Hazir Nazir means who is present everywhere. They are omnipresent. Just like omniscient means knowing everything. Alimul Ghaib. Omnipresent. Muslims were believing that the Holy Prophet was omnipresent. Therefore, they did not need to go anywhere. They were going to Madinah Tayyibah just for sake of blessing, but not because the Nabi Kareem was not listening. Hazrat Shah Abdul Haq Muhammad Delhi Rahmatullah writes in chapter number 18, and the words are Bachandi Mazaibo Firqaha ke dar Islam Yafta Bi Shaman Ej Kasra Dari Khilafe Nist ke Nabi Kareem wa hayate hakiki bila shubha bajaz Zidda u pajinda ast wa bar amal ummat hazir wa nazir ast. Up to the end of the 11th century of Islamic calendar, there was no one to differ the idea that Nabi Kareem was really alive, and there was no any presumption or any consumption or any conception of the death of the Holy Prophet. Nabi Kareem died, but at the same time his soul was put again in his body. Kitab al-I'tiqad, Imam Baqi, he says that there are many trials and ordeals in the life of the prophets, but there is no degradation in the status of the prophets. They never degraded. So when a soul is withdrawn from the body of the prophets, so there is a question, where should it be put? Even if the paradise is not with the same status as the body of the Holy Prophet. Putting the soul of the prophets in the paradise is also disgrace. Therefore, their soul are put again in their own bodies. This was mentioned in Kitab al-I'tiqad, Imam Baqi. So, Nabi Kareem alive. And Bar Amali Ummat Hazir Nazir. Because on the judgment day, Nabi Kareem was duty bound to appear in the court of Allah as a witness when he was not present at the time of occasion. So how can he appear in the court of Allah as a witness? Do you remember? This is the calamity for me. When I am speaking to you, your duty is to pay full attention to me. I am just doing the omnipresence of Muhammad Mustafa by ruling of the Holy Quran. The Quran says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. Similarly, you were created, you were made a middle type ummah. لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ, so that you will be able to be the witness to the society. وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا, and your Rasul would be a witness and evidence to you. So the evidence of Ummah would be rejected by this question. This Ummah was not present at the time of occasion. Therefore, the evidence by Ummah would be rejected. But the last and final evidence of the Holy Prophet would be offered in the court of Allah. And Nabi Kareem would say, my community is in the right. Really, these people are accused of this one, but they are not only accused, but they are criminal. They should be incriminated because I was witness here. So unless Nabi Kareem is believed to be eyewitness on the judgment day, so all of the other evidences are presumptive evidence, circumstantial evidence, but not conclusive evidence. So presumptive evidence or presumptive evidence or circumstantial evidence, they can be supporting evidence, but a decision cannot be based upon those evidences. Only the conclusive evidence can be based upon to achieve the decision. This is the proper ruling. Understand? So since the judgment day, on the judgment day, all of the decision will be made according to the evidence of Muhammad Mustafa. If he is not believed to be present at the time of occasion, so his evidence is also objectionable and cannot be accepted. And if the Nabi Kareem is not eyewitness, his evidence would be presumptive or circumstantial, and circumstantial or presumptive evidence cannot be based upon to achieve the decision. Unless it is conclusive evidence would be produced only by Muhammad Mustafa. It means that Nabi Kareem was very highly authenticated and undisputed evidence of the judgment day. So this shows that Nabi Kareem is present everywhere. Therefore, it is not necessary for you to go only Madinah Tayyiba. Understand? This is the answer to your question. But you are not allowed to be absent in my speech because I can check you. I can detect you. I'm a good detector.
And protector as well.
I can't say I'm a protector. So detection is my subject because I detected all of the criminal persons who are trying to commit the theft in the honor of the Holy Prophet. I caught them and I adduced them in the court of my community that these are the persons who are criminals. Muhammad has been doing the same thing. He says that, oh Muslims, you should believe that the Holy Prophet is omnipresent everywhere. The people who are preventing you standing in the court of Allah while saying Salam, they are Wahhabis. They should be excluded from some community. Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah was first person. Salam Muluk is the work of Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah, and the book written on the topic of ideology was Hadayatul Muslimin. So this was a brief summary of Mian Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah. Muhammad Sahib Rahmatullah was coming from Gujjar family. Mian, they have got 120 subcastes. Gujjar people have got 120 subcastes, and out of them Mian is also a subcaste. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah was coming from the Mian community from Gujjar family, and he was born in Kali Sharif, and he did not get married. He was going to be married, and he came to Kala Gujra, Chak Jamal, nearby. Don't try to say any wrong thing. Pudila, nearby Pudila, Chak Jamal. And he was a bridegroom. And there were many girls. They said, this bridegroom is not beautiful. The girl is very beautiful. So this is injustice to get such a man, such a person married with that beautiful girl. Then Mian Sahib Rahmatullah, all of the things used as a bridegroom, he took them off and put on his younger brother. And that girl was married to younger brother. And Mian Sahib Rahmatullah did not get married in whole of the life. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah led the life which was completely asceticism, taqwa ki zindagi, isolated from the society. He was isolated from the society, and he was serving Islam, and he was paying too much respect to Ali Bayt Rasul. Once upon a time, his younger brother gave an order to a Sayyid to make a lady shoe for his own wife. And said, Sayyid Sahib said, what is the measurement of your wife? He said, the measurement of your wife and my wife is the same. Therefore you can show the foot of your wife and make a shoe for my wife. So that Sayyid Sahib Rahmatullah made a female shoe and brought in front of Hazrat Mian Sahib Rahmatullah. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah said, what is this about? He said, this is for your sister-in-law. How? Your brother ordered me to make a shoe. He said, please call him in. His younger brother was called in. He said, have you recited Kalma Sharif? Are you Muslim? Yes, of course, Alhamdulillah, I am Muslim. Because when you are given the order of shoe to a Sayyid, how can you believe yourself to be a Muslim? You are so blasphemous. You are committing so much sacrilege, disrespect, this sacredness. So such a person cannot be included in the Muslim community. This is highly culpable action and a great blasphemy. I will not forgive you. Mian Sahib Rahmatullah did not deliver that shoe to his brother, but he kept with him. And at the time of death, certain person was present there. He asked him what that shoe is to be done with. He said, that is to be put in my coffin, in my shroud. You will have to put in my shroud. So what is the benefit? He said, when Nabi Karim will come in my shrine, in my grave, and I am not in a position to say that, Ya Rasulullah, I am your slave. I shall pick up the shoe and I will say, Al Ulad Teri da Mantra, Kangal Zayani, Khair Muhammad Ta'i, Sadqa Shadi. These shoes are enough evidence that I am really the slave of your family. So being a slave of your family, I am entitled to be blessed. So this is a small summary of some ideology. I expect you to pray for me as well, because now I am at the point of death. Certain days are left. God knows better what is the time for my death. So I shall ask you to ask my Allah to make me die on the good end. On the bhala so bhala. Nabi was reported to have said, Innamal a'malu bil khawatim. The personal sheet depends on the end. If the end is good, on the bhala so bhala. So bhala. Nabi was reported to have said, Innamal a'malu bil khawatim. The personal sheet depends on the end. If the end is good, all is good. Salam padiye. Jaya tha shankar.
Careful, get planted.